I'll be explaining how to create Jomon-style pottery fragments using Oracle cards as inspiration. This is the actual process I used to make these Jomon pottery pieces. At the end, I'll also show you a simple way to turn your fragments into a finished, pottery-like piece. When making fragments, the goal is not to create a perfect finished product, but to enjoy the process itself as a moment of dialogue with yourself. 1. Choose your theme. First, decide on a theme for your creation. For example, love, abundance, or harmony. Since these pieces will eventually take shape and can be displayed, it's best to choose a positive theme you want to bring into your space. 2. Draw 3 cards. Next, draw 3 cards. These 3 cards will represent the form, decoration, and energy that will shape your creation. You can start with whichever card inspires you the most. Which one will you choose? Of course, you can combine 2 cards into one piece. Or you can expand on a single card's motif and mix several shapes together. That's fun too. 3. Shaping with clay. I'll begin with this card, the Vessel of Seeds. You can either recreate the card's design directly or shape something inspired by the idea of a vessel of seeds. This fragment features a small opening with a hollow pocket inside. It's a unique motif often found on Jomon pottery. I often wonder, what did people in ancient times place inside these little pockets? This part was often used as decoration on the vessel's sides or rim. In my mind, I imagine several of these pieces coming together to form one large vessel. So this time, I'll make several parts and assemble them like a puzzle. It's easiest to attach pieces while the clay is still soft, but if they harden, you can use glue to join them later. 4. Adding curves and depth. Next, this card, the Song of Depth. This card has beautiful gradations that give a sense of depth. Instead of working on a flat surface, try using something curved, like a flower pot, as your base. This creates natural distortion and movement in the decoration. If it sticks, place a plastic sheet between the clay and the surface. 5. Another motif, the circle. Here we have the circle card. I couldn't wait for the clay to dry naturally, so I used a dehumidifier to speed up the process. Play around with the angles and positions, and attach the fragments while enjoying the balance like assembling a puzzle. Since the clay wasn't too hard, I could easily cut it with scissors to adjust the shape. 5. Another motif, the circle. Here we have the circle card. I couldn't wait for the clay to dry naturally, so I used a dehumidifier to speed up the process. Play around with the angles and positions, and attach the fragments while enjoying the balance like assembling a puzzle. Since the clay wasn't too hard, I could easily cut it with scissors to adjust the shape. Six. Creating an antique finish. You can leave the piece as is once it's fairly dry, but I wanted to give it a slightly antique look. You can paint it with black or dark brown acrylic paint, or mix black paint into ceramic stucco or sand for a more earthen texture. This gives the piece a more pottery-like feel and strengthens the surface. Use a toothpick to refine any hidden details. Add dark brown paint unevenly. Avoid making it flat and uniform. Keep the deeper grooves dark to emphasize the contrast. Next, use a skin-toned or light color to highlight raised areas. You can dab it on with your finger or a crumpled tissue. If you add too much, you can layer black paint over it again to balance the tones.
塗りすぎた場合は黒でさらに重ねて調節してください。
Seven. Finished piece. Here's the completed piece, which incorporates 3 card motifs. You can also make multiple fragments and assemble them into a full vessel. For example, coat a small plant pot with clay, attach your fragments to it, and you'll have a finished Jomon-style pottery piece. I'll show this part in another video. Sparkles the true beauty of pottery making. This time, I used 3 cards as seeds of inspiration, combining their motifs to shape a single Jomon-style vessel. The true charm of making pottery lies not in the finished form, but in the magical moment when the shape rises from your hands. Each fragment becomes a small story, a quiet conversation between your inner world and the clay. Depending on the cards you draw and the angles you combine, every piece will turn out completely different. There is no right answer. Your inspiration is at the heart of the work. Take your cards in hand, and try making your own Jomon-inspired pottery. I hope you'll enjoy the moment when your unique fragment takes form, a one-of-a-kind piece that exists nowhere else in the world. Please check the link below for more information about the Jomon Oracle Cards. In the next video, I'll show you how to use the fragments to shape a complete pottery piece, so don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching until the end.